Digibro didn't know how he'd found himself ankles deep in the hideous soup of a garbage swamp, but it was activating his paranoia something fierce. A putrid humidity rose below the surface of the noxious sludge, sometimes bulging up into black bubbles which expanded rapidly like they were going to pop, and then invariably slowly and loudly farted out. From his point of view, Digi seemed to be wandering the forest somewhere, half delirious from the visible green clouds of smoke emanating out of giant trash piles strewn about the landscape, and waste littering the would-be water below. In actuality, he was navigating not a forest of trees, but an endless wood of gigantic hammers and sickles arcing from earth to sky. Digi groaned. We're almost there, baby boy. You can see the foot of Shit Mountain just there. Indeed, they were very close to the foot of a mountain of shit. Some of it literal shit, but anything you could imagine being described as shit was visible amid the mound. As soon as Munchie placed a foot on the mountain, a pulse rattled through the atmosphere, seeming to originate from within the shit hill. As the reverberations passed through their bodies, those vibrations were interpreted like sound, transmitting a message into their minds. Tread not upon this land if you will not swear subordinates to the Lord of Shit Mountain, and surrender your means at the gate. Well, I'm not carrying anything on me, Munchie said. You? Digi thought for a second, then responded, Crack? They might take it from you and give you back like an eighth of it. Digi reached into his pocket, produced his baggie of crack, and stared at it for a good solid moment. Then he put that hand into the back of his pants, made an odd and strained gesture for a moment, and then motioned that he was ready to continue. Once the fat men both had feet on the mountain, another wave passed through them. I know you just put that crack in your crack. Kso, Digi swore. Just forget about it. I'll get you more crack inside, Munchie spat, and angrily recommenced his ascent of the Butt Butte. 20 minutes later, after a lot of hiking and Goron dodging, our protagonists made it to the mouth of a cave, burrowing beyond sight into the side of the dung dune. Once they'd gotten a few meters in, they spotted a little guardsman in a snazzy suit, looking like a tasty little snack. Munchie wiped the drool from the side of his mouth and refocused on the mission at hand. The guard halted their approach. Halt your approach! This is the communist cop-killer utopia, Black Boston. You must surrender whatever means are at your disposal before entry. The tiny guard held his hand out and stared at the two boys. They glanced at one another, and then Digibro walked over, dropped trow, and pinched out a crack baggie in the little prince's palms. Then they headed through. Thicker and thicker air challenged even Digibro's lungs as they followed the tunnel into the crap landfill. The torches used to light the caves caused a constant pervasion of warm sewage wafting, but layered onto that, as if trying to mask it, was sugar-sweet candy vape smoke billowing in waves from somewhere deep in the heart of the city. When they started coming by door-shaped holes in the cave walls, Digi glanced in to see tiny rooms, each inhabited by nude men hard at work by computers or tables, looking haggard and unkempt. All things considered, it didn't seem that different from a college dorm. Before long, the tunnel finally opened into a massive atrium, the city center. Just picture Goron City, but made of shit and garbage, and Ben Saint is sitting at the very bottom in the middle, wearing massive glasses with all-white lenses, and vaping straight from the exhaust pipe of the Gravedigger monster truck parked right next to him. Google it if you don't know what any of those things looks like. I promise the mental image is easy to conjure. But also imagine that you can't actually see Ben at the bottom because he's vaping so fucking much that you can barely see a foot in front of your face. I fucking hate this place! Munchie shouts through coughs as he tries to swat the smoke away from his face. Chill out, fascist, a young girl says, emerging from the mist at Munchie's right. Take one of these. She hands out some kind of black cloth, matching the one which she's got wrapped around her face. Munchie snaps it up and quickly blankets his entire face with it. This isn't fucking doing anything, he shouts. Digi fastens one over his nose and mouth. No one can be seen in Black Boston. To be seen spreads want. Continue the great work! Around halfway through the girl's manic shrieking, Digi and Munchie had bypassed her and jumped straight down into the heart of the city, remembering to press A so they would roll as soon as they hit the ground and not take damage. Ben, get up! We're doing RADCON 4! Munchie bellowed, arms crossed. Ben was still in the middle of his current exhale, so it took about 93 seconds before he could respond, asking, "Will I get paid?" "Only if you help us continue this light novel," and this chapter turns out to be a lot more exciting than the first one, since this fat slag thought he could get people hype over 2 pages. Munchie turned to hold Digi visually accountable for his crime, but Digi was busy doing crack. "As long as the wealth is equally distributed. All of you will be getting whatever hand-me-down scraps are left over when you've burned through my budget in the same creative freedom dividend." "Can I bring my vape?" "Fuck no." "God damn it, fine, I'll do it." "That's what I thought, bitch. Now let's go find your brother." Nate was easily findable in the same shithole Cincinnati apartment he'd been living in since before the apocalypse. It hadn't changed much, except all the rapists had evolved to be either especially benign flesh globs or especially predacious muscle beasts. Nate and Michelle were leaving the house no less than usual, only for their yearly vacations to New Hawaii. Munchie kicked the door to Nate's apartment clean off its hinges and stormed through the room screaming, "Fuck boy!" Nate came trotting in from the back room full of bloomer spirit, arms open in welcome and amid laughter responding, "Nibba!" He looked exactly the same as ever. The two men collided in the center of the room and Munchie lifted Nate into a hearty embrace and then began carrying him out of the house. "Munchie, you're so damn strong!" Nate was playing along, not realizing the reality of his situation. Thinking the bit was overstaying its welcome, he began trying to kick himself loose, but to no avail. Munchie was already stepping through the front door. "All right, Munchie, put me down. It looks like you're kidnapping me." "I am, you stupid fucking fuck." "Hun?" Michelle emerged from the back room of the apartment to see Ben filling the living room with clouds from his enormous clarinet body vape, Digi holding a lighter under a spoon, and a large man disappearing into the distance carrying her boyfriend. "Are you guys finally doing RADCON 4? Can I come?" she asked. Digi burped and Ben farted, so she beamed with excitement and bolted out the door to follow Munchie's exit. Once Munchie had physically jousted Nate and his girl into the back seat of his limousine, he went back inside, hoisted the unresponsive Digi and Ben onto his shoulders, and then did the same with them. "How long is the ride to the next place?" Nate asked, squished between the massive flesh piles of Digi and Munchie. "Well, we're going to London to get Hippo next, so I'd say like 20 hours, Munchie responded. "Ooh, it's going to be tight, but if we hurry, we might be able to squeeze in a quick meeting about what we should do at RADCON 4, Nate said. Digibro immediately passed out. "Yeah, what exactly is our goal here anyways?" Ben asked. "I know you told me on the way here that you want to make the PCP great again or some other fascist rhetoric, but what does that even really mean?" "I don't know. People give you guys money when you do things together, and they really don't seem to want their money, so I'm giving them what they want," Munchie explained. "But you see, as much as I love doing RADCON, and I'm glad our fans continue to enjoy it, isn't there some way that we could use it to turn a profit beyond the event itself?" Nate asked. Just then, to everyone's surprise, the driver of the limo spoke up. "I know of a way that you can make a whole lot of money very quickly." Everyone turned, but couldn't see the driver's face under his cap. Munchie spoke up. "Okay, but these idiots are making art. They don't know how to work real jobs, and I have money." "Pardon my intrusion on your conversation, but you all said you were live streaming much of this event, yes?" Yeah," Ben chortled. "Well, it so happens that I work at an ad company that's interested in collaborating with independent and obscure creators on sponsorship projects." "Oh?" Nate perked up, amused. "You don't understand. The one with the beard says the N-word with a hard R," Munchie argued. "It's a very progressive company," the driver continued. "I think you've got that backwards," Ben accused under his breath. "Well, hey, I'm willing to listen to your proposal," Nate said as amicably as possible. "Really?" Munchie interjected. "Excellent," the driver suddenly boomed. "If you see that tablet behind my seat, there's an application on there which will show you the full range of our ad packages." As the driver spoke, Nate grabbed the tablet from one of the open seats and began scrolling through its menus. Simply use the USB cable hooked in there to transfer the app to your phone. Hold on, Munchie interrupted. Nate, are you sure you want to trust this random-ass deal from this limo driver I hired off Uber? What's the harm in giving a look? Nate asked, as he made several attempts at plugging the USB into his phone and finally succeeded. The moment he did, the screen went black. He stared at it blankly, and then the screen went blue. Oh, okay, it's opening up. A block of white text appeared on the screen. Ha ha, bitch, I own all of your YouTube channels now, you dumb motherfucker. You got scammed. Ah ha ha, fuck you. Nate read the message back solemnly. God damn it, Nate, Munchie grumbled, planting his face into his hand. Ha 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 ha. The driver burst into hysterical laughter, and then slammed the wheel to the right and sent the limo careening into the opposite lane. It was immediately clobbered by a race car going 10,000 miles an hour and went rocketing and spinning through the air like an object in Katamari Damacy before the front end of the car impaled itself through the face of a building. Inside the car, everyone was being tossed about, but it was kind of fun. After the car was stably sticking from the side of a building, its frame began to crack in the center. No one in the back could get themselves in order fast enough to start moving to the front, and the driver was rising from his seat and finally revealing his face to the party in the back. He was just some normie businessman. My name is Brad Garlinghouse, creator of Ripple and figurehead of the XRP cryptocurrency. As Brad inched closer, the car's frame fully cracked at the top, its back half dropping to a hanging position, with the bottom of the frame bent nearly to breaking. Brad Garlinghouse strode all the way to the edge of the malformed car and looked down into its caboose at the pile of fat asses crushing the small girl pressed to the back window. His monologue continued with a broad smile. I've got all the keys to the PCP castle thanks to you, Nate. And now I'll be turning RADCON into BradCon! Brad disappeared from sight. I hate this fucking arc already, Munchie spat. Now that guy was definitely a fascist, Ben remarked. For once, Ben, I actually agree with you, Nate chimed in. Can you all start working on getting off me now? Michelle begged from below. Munchie shifted his weight, and the car immediately began screeching downward and eventually free-falling from the building. When it hit the ground, it exploded, and everyone was fine because surviving years of Super AIDS atmosphere had built up an immunity to death. Guess we gotta go stop that fucking boomer from killing RADCON, Ben mused, gazing skyward. Yeah, but we still gotta go get the other guys first, so that narrative can pay off later, Munchie responded. And so the adventure continued. If you want Chapter 3 of this stupid-ass light novel to exist, you've only got a week to give a whole bunch of fucking money to the RADCON 4 Kickstarter. That's right, people actually gave me money to write more of this, and I did. So if you want even more, just give me even more money. Wow! Wow!